Oh, wow. How did I miss that? Two of them. Be careful up
What's
here.
that?
I've just run over a piece of land and somehow managed to avoid dropping, what, 30, 40 blocks down to a, to a
Uh-huh.
ravine.
Wow. Yeah, that's one thing I found. I said the whole holes over there at that storage area is because every time about every sixth or seventh block I dig, suddenly there was a sand quake and a whole bunch of sand dropped into the ground.
I have no idea why that music box is there. I've been looking at it thinking, what would I do with that? Why would I have that there? And I cannot for the life of me think why I've got that there.
I was wondering, were you experimenting? Were we experimenting with the note blocks on different materials to see what kind of notes they produced?
Well, possibly, but I
I
still can't
remember
think
you doing
why.
that.
Yeah, I still can't think why it's out here at
Why
this
it's
place.
here, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless we were building this when note blocks came in and we were discussing, you built one and we were all sitting around trying to figure things out about it or whatever.
No idea.
Yeah. Do you have a place you're putting the sand or just taking it back and dumping it off?
Once I've filled my inventory, I just take it back and dump it off, yeah.
Okay. Sitting here digging with my stake, thinking it's getting all sandy.
Whoops. And I'm into a hole.
Oops.
I'll tap in eventually.
Reminding me of Compo, where Compo was saying he was wishing he was stuck on a desert island with. Oh, who was he saying? I'd like to get stuck on a desert island with some 30s, 40s actress like Betty Grable and Nora Batty. And I think it was Foggy. It's like, if you were on an island with Betty Grable, why would you want Nora Batty there too? And he's like, well, a man's got to have a little grit in his diet. I don't think I saw a special as a blog webpage thing that I follow called Summer Winos.
Yeah, you mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah, where the guys are doing, the episode by episode reviews and thoughts of on every episode as they're going along. They just finishing up season 9. And they also post a bunch of extra stuff. They've got a thing where they've got an interview that they did with Crusher, and they did an interview with Thora Hirsch.
Tora Heard. Yeah.
Heard, yeah, the one that played Edie. And yeah, they do an interview with her and some other stuff. And one of them, they were like a little known film is when the last of the summer wine was being inducted into the BBC Hall of Comedy, and all of them were there to pull the curtain off the plaque on the wall and everything. And it's the first time I think I've ever heard Bill Owen speak
Right.
when he wasn't Compo.
Mm.
And my God, he sounds totally different. That's an incredible accent that he puts on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, his generation all had to talk in, what do they call it? Does it call it received English?
RP, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
They talk about that all the time, the RP English. And one of the guys on there's like one of the guys is like just turned 30 and the other one's like just like turned like 45 or 50 or something. So there's like two separate generations, and the older one has talked about that before. He said, and he's talked about that or spoken about that with the some of the episodes, where he says the one in particular with this particular season, he's talking where she's out calling Wesley to come in, and when she's talking to Wesley, she's talking very refined like this. Wesley, can you please get in here? I need to speak to you for a moment. And then immediately switches back into Yorkshire whenever they're inside. And he's like, "What are you doing, woman?" He says, "We've got," and she's like, we got a doctor and 2 land surveyors down the street. I'm not going to get out there and screech at you like some coming bumpkin now, am I?" And the older guy was laughing and saying, he says, "Yeah, my father used to do that," and says, "I've noticed that I do that." Says that my father used to do that when said he'd be in the middle of a rant, just ranting at us and everything, and answer the phone, and it would be the proper Queen's English, would be totally RP.
Yes, yeah.
Whenever he answered the phone, and says, "I found that," said, or my girlfriend has told me that, said the same thing, that I do that whenever I said, like, I'll come up to a McDonald's speaker and I will immediately start talking in RP. And she says, "Unfortunately, I take it a little bit too far and I'm actually camp about it," or so she says.
Yeah. We take the mickey out of my gran because we call it her telephone voice, because she's exactly the same. Broad Lancashire accent until she picks up the telephone. Hello.
Someone's just left sand floating all over the place over here.
Yeah, I knocked down more than I realised I could hold, and I couldn't hold anymore.
Get out my Roomba batteries.
I mean, let's think. It's about a 62 by 62 grid. So how many is that? Let's get the calculator out. 62 times 62. So 3,844 blocks of sand per layer. And you've got to take it down to roughly around about layer 40. So that's 24 blocks. So you're looking at roughly 92,000 blocks of sand.
Wow. You know, it'd be a lot easier just to build a fake temple and then spawn in the sponges as we need them, you know. Just let me know. I can set that up. Probably make some command blocks to do it too.
Well, the good thing is, of course, I will divide it up into little areas. So some of them are only like 5 blocks wide, and then take them out with sponges, those areas. So I don't need quite that many sand, but I'll need a lot of it.
Saw the movie BlacKKKlansman the other day. I don't know if I mentioned it to you.
No, you didn't mention you were going to go and see that.
One. Yeah, that was the one I had on our movie night the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun movie. It was a Spike Lee movie.
Yeah.
So, you know, like all Spike Lee movies, it had its sections which were unnecessarily preachy.
Yeah.
Because the man, I tell you, he cannot. Subtlety is not a word in his director's vocabulary.
No.
He's much like Tarantino in that respect. There's not a lot of subtlety there.
Mm-hmm.
But like Tarantino, he still makes a good movie.
Yeah.
And this was quite entertaining. It's you know, one of those based on a true story. Which, if you go to the things like Real History, you know, REEL History, the places like that do that kind of thing, okay, this is the movie based on the event, and this is what happened in the event, and this is how we grade how well it actually sticks to the story.
Right, yeah.
They give the first third of it a B+, A-. They say it's pretty good to the accuracy of it, and the last half or 2/3 they give it a D- as far as history.
Yeah.
As I said, basically the story is this gentleman is the first black police officer on where were they? Colorado? Like the Denver, Colorado police force in the 1970s.
Right.
He was the first black police officer to join the force, and he got on the undercover squad, and infiltrated the KKK. And the way it worked is that he would be the voice. He would be the voice of their contact on the telephone, and then he had a white partner who would go in whenever they needed to go and meet in person.
Right.
So he would be the one that would be on the phone, talking to the Grand Wizard and people like David Dukes and all these other famous racists and stuff like that. He would be the one who'd be talking to them on the phone. And then him and his partner had to work together and work out an accent between the two of them so that they could sound alike whenever they were, when one of them was on the phone and one of them was meeting in person. So yeah, they infiltrated the KKK and brought down the local chapter of it. And it was a fun story. Kind of a dark comedy type thing.
Yeah.
But like I said, the history part of it, the part where he was, they were doing the infiltration and that kind of stuff was factual. But they said the part where it was like in the movie, the Klan is trying to get C4 and they're going to bomb they think that the local blacks at the local college at the Denver University are getting too uppity. The Black Panther movement and all that are getting too uppity, so they're going to set off some bombs to kill some of the leaders, some of the student leaders and that sort of thing. Whereas, and they said in actual history, what the Klan was doing, that particular branch of the Klan was they were working on trying to get, because, Colorado is where NORAD is. Colorado is where the National Air Defense for the United States is.
Right.
The Air Command and all that. And said what they were trying to do is they were trying to get Klan members infiltrated into officer positions in the Army and in NORAD and everything. So I guess that wasn't quite as exciting as setting off bombs and stuff like that. So they changed that part of the story.
Yeah.
So they said all that part got changed around. But it was still a very fun movie.
I thought it was something along the lines of like a Will Ferrell comedy, to be honest, from the very little I've seen of it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not that off the wall.
Mm.
It's much more of a dark comedy. It's much more of a dramedy, I guess what they call it is. It's mostly a drama, but it's got a lot of funny stuff along with it. And who were the stars? John David Washington plays Ron Stallworth. He plays the black police officer. Adam Driver plays his partner. And one of the Buscemi brothers. I didn't know. I thought it was Steve. It's apparently his brother Michael, who plays the third detective. Poor guy. He looks just like his brother.
It's all right when you've got the groupies coming after you, but not so good in real life.
I didn't realize that. It's Michael Buscemi, not Steve. Wow. I just thought it was Steve in makeup because it didn't look exactly like him, but close enough you could tell he was a Buscemi.
Yeah.
And there are other little details like, Adam Driver plays his partner, and in the movie he's Jewish. And so you get the double whammy of not only did the KKK give a Klansman membership card to a black man, but they gave one to a Jew as well.
Yeah.
Which wasn't true in history. His partner was white, but he wasn't Jewish.
Yeah.
But, once again, don't get your history from movies.
No. Don't get your history from history books either, because history is written by the winner.
History's written by the winners. You got it.
Oh, yeah, these were the most terrible people ever. We had to go and wipe them out, and otherwise they'd have killed us all.
Mm.
That gold mine they're sitting on, well, that comes in useful. Yep. That steampunk game's come out on early access now.
The one with the
giant mole
digging
ships,
machine?
Yeah. Came out the other day. Have you had a chance to look at the sales?
I have not.
For Chinese New Year?
I have not. I need to. It's very much almost fell in that hole. Oh. God, I hate it when this game makes my heart pound like that. It's never monsters anymore. It's never like I turn around and see a creeper standing behind me. No, it's like I almost step into a hole.
Yep. I'll fall through into lava or something.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you something I've been having a lot of fun doing is I've been watching, don't even know how I did it. Maybe it popped up one day in my feed or something, but I've been watching, going back and watching Total Biscuit and Jesse play Terraria.
Right, yeah.
From 2011.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was such a fun series.
Mm.
And I think it was like TB and Jesse just really getting their start together too. Because Total Biscuit, they start out with a WTF, and he's like, today this Total Biscuit, and I'm researching WTF is Terraria, and today is a special episode because I'm joined by Jesse Cox from OMFG Kata. It's like, oh my God, that was a long time ago. When he was OMFG Kata.
Yeah.
Back when he was a World of Warcraft YouTuber. And they're sitting there, and TB had only been he was like, I've only played it a little bit, and Jesse hadn't played it at all, so the two of them stumbling through it. And back before, like I said, it was 2011, it was 8 years ago. And back before TB was totally the big sensation he became.
Mm-hmm.
So he could still, he was still able to produce stuff like that where, they eventually made I think they eventually got 84 Terraria videos or something.
Yeah.
It's either 54 or 84, and I think it's 84 were in the playlist. That was, several years before he was at the point where he talked about before, where he says, the worst part of this whole thing for me is that I can't play games I enjoy.
Yeah, that's it.
Because I have to work on such a schedule. It's like I rarely get a chance to go back and play anything that I really enjoy very much.
Yeah, he has to be critiquing them all the time.
Yes. Here you go. More stacks for you.
Will that fill me up? That's filled me up. I can't pick up the rest of it.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. Well, I'll come and join you then, because this just about filled me up too.
All right.
I think I got about half a stack's worth left, so might as well come on and dump them. Oh, but it's so much fun watching them, and just made me feel like a lot like watching the two/3 of us, and the constant going back. Well, what are you good for? And
Terraria was a different game then. I find it too complex now, with all the million bosses and the different this and that. It's like you've got to have a spreadsheet to know what you're doing for each thing. Mm-hmm. So, well, I suppose in some ways, it's as complex as you make it, I suppose. But
yeah, I could see it still being very much, just jump in there and do it and take things as they come.
Yeah. I mean, I do love the idea. I mean, I like the idea of farms in this game. So I love the idea in Terraria that you can make farms. Mm-hmm. But it's highly technical, you've got to be able to get this and that and everything. And you can make some really interesting farms in Terraria. I wish I could build pretty. When you see some of these people that built these wonderful castles or tree houses and everything, you think, how the hell have they done that? It's this combination of background blocks and foreground blocks.
Right. Oh, your face still freaks me out every time I come up on it.
The wife says that to me too.
And then watching Fiend Corp pop in up yonder.